Hello guys, welcome back to ESENtaxa. Andrea Papito here. In this video we are going to talk about how to combine two important tax benefits together and how come now is possible and wasn't possible some years ago. And I'm talking about the two famous impatriate regime and the high net worth individual tax regime combined together if you're Italian tax resident. If you're new to this channel, ESENtaxa talks about how to optimize your taxation if you want to relocate into a specific country, and we help you to understand if the relocation in that specific country in Europe makes sense or not. In the description below the video you will find our calendar link, book a consultation with us, with our consultant experts, and also you will find an online course in our ESENtaxa Academy, well, more than one online course, in which we explain you all the international tax matters, tax subject, worldwide international taxation, to help you have a common ground knowledge and in order to have a grown-up level conversation when you're going to approach for the first time your tax advisor, tax consultant, just to not waste most of the consultant time, just to start with the basic concept. So if you have a basic knowledge, common ground knowledge, would be more faster for you to understand exactly what the reason behind the tax planning and the tax strategy, because it's very important when you get consulted by somebody, understand deeply, have a full understanding of what's going to happen at your, basically at your money, because we are going to talk about money to be sent in taxes. Now, going back to the topic of this video, it's a very interesting news, important news, I would say very nice news that we have today, because the Italian tax agency clarified with a specific response to a taxpayer that it's possible, before it was forbidden, now it's possible to combine two tax regimes together at the same time. And I'm talking about the most strong tax regime you can have in Italy. Now, one is the impatriate regime. We know that this one, same conditions as always, nothing changed, but you can use the impatriate regime when you become Italian tax residents for the first time, at same as your high net worth individual for new resident people. It means that with the high net worth individual tax regime you will see all your foreign income excluded from taxation and you don't have to report any assets detained abroad, okay? As long as you have assets from country which have with Italy the agreement to avoid double taxation or mutual assistance, okay? If you have those let's say incomes, assets in tax haven country or blacklisted country, this is not going to work, okay? So that was just a small disclaimer. So if you have income from abroad, incomes of any type from abroad, plus assets abroad, you don't have to disclose them, you don't have to disclose bank account, financial product, and you don't have to pay wealth tax for assets detained abroad, because when you're Italian tax resident you have this wealth tax that has to be paid on your financial assets that you have abroad. So all these things is excluded. What you have to pay instead, it's 200,000 euro as a principal taxpayer. Why I'm saying principal taxpayer? Because you can bring with you a member of your family, and here's the very good point, because the member of your family, let's say your wife, your husband, or your child, or your cousin, your aunt, so it's a very extended concept, this second member, which will be attached to the main payer, which is you're going to pay 200,000, this second taxpayer is going to pay only 25,000. So it's very convenient tax regime for a family, a millionaire families, because if both of you, let's imagine husband and wife, they both receive 1 million euro each, and the total amount to pay is not 400,000, but it's only 225,000. So split it by 2, divided by 2, having 1 million income coming from abroad, it's only 11.25% taxes. It's not bad, and if you earn more, since the amount of money is fixed, it's not in percentage, your tax pressure is gonna drop. So if you earn 2 million from abroad, then it's gonna be 6% in terms of taxes for each of you. So you move to Italy, you become new resident, and you apply for this regime because you are a high net worth individual with at least 2 million euro in income coming from abroad. I said income of any type, rental income, so passive income, dividends, interest, capital gains, whatever, There's a small exception on capital gains in the first 5 years, but we can deep dive on this in a consultancy. So go in and click book a consultation with us in the description of the video. So all the rest of the income are not subject to the ordinary Italian tax bracket rates, but will be at this substitutive fixed amount of money to pay every year for 15 years. So this tax regime lasts for 15 years. Now, up to last year, when you apply for this regime, you cannot overlap this regime with any other type of, let's say, tax regime. Now, the purpose of this video is just to explain you that now this is possible and you can apply the impatriate regime along with the one from the foreign income. So your foreign income are excluded thanks to the high net worth individual fixed amount of tax to pay, and you pay, and if you're if you're a high net worth individual, it makes sense to apply for this regime. So if you have at least 1 million euro onward and you are a couple minimum, or you can be also alone, but you have to consider 200,000 euro as a minimum amount of money to pay. So if you have 4 million euro, it starts to make sense, okay? So if you are in this situation, but at the same time you want to also perform an activity in Italy, you want to run a business in Italy, and you have the requirement of application for the impatriate regime, you can also use the impatriate regime. And also the income generated in the Italian territory, which basically is the professional income under the impatriate regime rule, would be discounted by 50%, so only the half of it would be subject to taxation and social security, for example, in case of freelancers. And if you bring with you a child, a minor, this exclusion rises to 60%, so only 40% of your income would be subject to taxation and social security calculation contributions, okay? So roughly, in the first case, your tax pressure and social security combined would be 21%, more or less, and in the second case, with having a child with you, this percentage, this tax pressure and social security combined will drop to 18%. Okay, so 11% there, 18%, as you can see, are very low percentages. Keep in mind that you are basically in the heart of Europe. You're moving to Italy, that normally is considered a high tax country. The only difference is the timing, because the impatriate regime lasts for 5 years, while the high net worth individual tax regime lasts for 15 years. And the impatriate regime must be applied immediately. So if you cannot let pass several months before, or even years before apply for this regime, otherwise you will be automatically excluded. So it's worth to have an understanding of this possibility, and if you would like to deep dive on this discussion, because of course the application, there are two parallel applications that must be done for both tax regime. Of course we know all of them because we do both of them, but there are procedures and you have to be aware of timing and type of documents that you need to perform. And for the high net worth individuals, it's also possible to provide to the Italian tax agency, ask an advance tax ruling to understand if your situation is in a gray areas, if it's possible to apply. Because in the classical cases in which you have your foreign company running abroad, then we have to see if you can run for real your company abroad, because otherwise your administrator payroll, this is a classical situation that everybody has, your administrator payroll might be requalified as an Italian income, but then we can apply the impatriate regime now. So you see, there are quite a lot to discuss, because this combination, let's call it combo tax, opens the door to a lot of solutions and other combinations. Keep in mind that the impatriate regime also have another advantage, is that you don't have to open a company, you don't have to open another structure, go to the notary, anything. You just are a freelancer, a businessman that run a business, and the money goes straight to your pocket. And the upper limit for the impatriate regime is 600,000 euros. So up to a business that makes a profit of 600,000 euro, well, it makes absolutely sense to move to Italy, live out of your incomes from abroad, running your business abroad, and let's see if you really can manage your business abroad as administrator of the company or board of a company, and you can run another business in Italy as well with the impotent regime. You see, there is also this possibility now, and stay tuned in ESENtaxa, of course, because we are going to update you whenever we have this kind of news from the Italian government and from the tax agency, so you can basically be informed and decide if you would like to use our help or anybody else in order to understand if the relocation to this country makes sense or not. If you want to help us grow with this channel, notification bell, like button, and subscribe to the channel, and in the description below the video our calendar link if you want to talk to us and discuss about this news. Thank you, see you in the next content. Bye.